Hello guys and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name's Hannah. I've got a lot of books to read. So this week we're going to be trying to get rid of a ton of the books on my TBR so that I can buy some more. Now I have a ton of physical books I want to read, and I also have 3 books on my Kindle. And yeah, let's just get straight into this, shall we? I cannot believe how many books I have.
Okay, so ignore this terrible angle and ignore how bad I look. I'm currently sitting in my hammock and I'm filming on my phone, but I finished the first 50 pages of Collided. Now you're following this character called Sophie, who is in her 3rd year of university, and her dad is the principal of an F1 team, which is the same F1 team in book 1 of this series. Now I don't want to give too much away since it is a series, so obviously you have to read book 1 to understand the character and the character developments, but I'm absolutely loving this. It's honestly taken me so long to read the first 50 pages, but with Lauren Ash's books, I really like to spend the time just really soaking in everything, like soaking in the environment, because it is based around F1 racing, which I know essentially like nothing about. So it definitely takes me a while to get into the book, just in the sense of the characters and the seasons and stuff. It gets a little bit confusing for me, but I just know I'm gonna love this book. Now I'm gonna keep reading and I'll check in with you guys when I'm about halfway through the book, but so far, so good.
Guys, I just finished Collided in the same day I started it. It was, how many pages? It was exactly 400 pages. This might be one of my favorite Lauren Asher books I've ever read. I absolutely loved this book. I loved the story. I felt like there was a lot more pushback with the relationship in this book than a lot of the books I've read of hers. That was actually so good. I'm a big fan. I rate Collided a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was just such a good story. I did really like it. Again, F1 racing really isn't my thing, but these were so good. I want to read book 3 now, but I don't have it. I could get it on my Kindle, but the whole point of this challenge is to lessen the amount of books I have on my TBR rather than add them, so I will probably buy it as a treat once I've knocked off some more books off my TBR. Now with that one being done, I think I'm going to move on to my Kindle, as I am going on a road trip tomorrow, so I feel like it would be a good time to start one on the Kindle. Look how cute my pop socket is for it. I have 3 books on my Kindle that need to be read. We have, I don't know how well you can see my screen, but we've got Icebreaker, Zodiac Academy, or Variation. I'm leaning towards Icebreaker because I'm kind of just in the mood for another romance, so I think I'm gonna go with that one. We are going to go with Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I've heard a lot about this book, just about people raving about it. I actually have no idea about anything with the book. I haven't even read the blurb. I just knew it was popular and wanted to give it a read. So let's just start with this one, shall we? Alright, so I'm gonna read for a little bit tonight, and I will probably catch up with you guys in the morning when I've read the first 50 or so pages, and we can debrief on what I think of the book so far. But good night, guys. Hello guys and good morning. It's actually the next day now, and I finished 38% of, I don't know if you can see that. There we go, of Icebreaker last night. I stayed up till about midnight because I just couldn't sleep, but absolutely smashed out the book. I'm already on a page 186. Now, basically you're following this girl called Anastasia who just clearly has some commitment problems, but she is an extremely overly organized person, and you're basically just following her in a extreme schedule while there's multiple guys obviously interested in her, and her skate partner
is an absolute douchebag. Obviously, I can't really say too much because I don't want to give the book away because I've read like almost 50% of it, so I don't want to give any away because usually I would give you guys an update only 50 pages in, but because I read so much last night, I don't want to give too much away. But we're driving now. Our destination is about 5 hours or 4.5 hours, so I'm just going to keep reading Icebreaker, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys when we're done. So we have finished book number 2, which is Icebreaker. I've rated it a 3 out of 5 stars. It's pretty good. It's a very easy read. It's just like a sappy romance book. It's nothing that crazy. But I've heard that a lot of people actually don't like it, but I did. I mean, it's not my favorite book in the world, but it's pretty good. Liked the characters. Liked the storyline, was definitely a little cheesy, but it's a romance novel, so what else are you expecting? But yes, we got book number 2 down and we're still in the car. We've only got like another 10 minutes left though, so I will speak to you guys later on when I've chosen book number 3. Alright guys, so it is now Friday and I'm on to book number 3, which is Nightbane. Now Nightbane is a part of a series. I'm actually not sure how many books are in the series, but this is the second book of the series. I've read Light Lark maybe like a month ago. Let's give this a go. So it is currently Sunday and we are driving home now, and I just finished Nightbane. Now I'm rating this one 3 out of 5 stars. I actually like it more, or a lot more, than the first book. I finished this in like 2.5 days, I think. So it did take me a little bit longer, but I think it's because I kind of had to remember what happened in the first book because it's been a while since I read the first book. But honestly, if you've read the first book of this series and you weren't like fully sold on it, I would recommend giving the second book a go because it's definitely better than the first book. I know there's a third book out. I haven't bought it, so I'm not sure when I'm going to read the third book. I can't really say much about this book because then I'll give away the first book. I don't really like that it's in third person though. I've seen a lot of people complain about that these books are written in third person, and in the first book it didn't really bother me that much, but this book it definitely bothered me that it was in third person. I would have much rather it was in first person from Isla, who's the main character. I guess maybe each chapter was a different person's point of view rather than just a third person. I don't know, it did kind of get to me a little bit, this book, but yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. Now, the next book I'm going to be reading is The Ski Trip by Clarke. Now, I don't know anything about this author. I've read the first 20 pages of this book already because I read it the day I got it, but I'll just read you guys the blurb so you can kind of get an idea of what it's about. When 4 friends embark on a boys' skiing holiday in the Alps, they anticipate a weekend of fun, drinking, and some healthy competition on the slopes. But their trip is cut short when one of them falls to his death. Tom's widow Zoe travels to France with her friend Ivy to collect his body. While Zoe is consumed by grief, Ivy starts to question everything. So basically, the story starts with Ivy, who I believe lost her father on the same slope since she was younger, from what I can gather so far by the story. And then, you know, one of her close friends that she was no longer close with for some reason, for something that happened a few years ago that we don't know anything about, she came to her house basically saying that her boyfriend has died on the same ski slopes and that she needs someone to go with her. So that's all I'm up to at the book at the moment. I'm quite keen about it. I'm honestly, to be fully honest, I'm not really in the mood to read this book, but I think once I've started reading it, I'll get into it. But yeah.
I look terrifying. annoying me if I turn this light off. I don't know if that makes it any better. I got home from the road trip at about 3:30, 3:45, and then I just had to get a bunch of stuff done and, you know, have dinner and stuff. Now, me and my family actually just watched this really good movie. I can't remember the name of it, so I'll put it on the screen. We've watched probably the first hour or so, and it's a really good movie. But I'm now going to continue the ski trip. I can't remember what page I'm on. I'm on page 191, and I think there's about 300 pages altogether. As you can see, I don't have that much left to read. This book, it's very interesting because like I can tell which character I'm supposed to like, but for some reason I'm not the biggest fan of them. Now there's not really an exact reason as to why, but I don't know, it's a very interesting book. I like that it's a bit of a shorter read, so that's kind of why I went with this one to begin with, but it's still pretty good. But I'm gonna try and smash out a little bit more of it now. Hello guys, it's the next day. It's literally like 4:50. I haven't done any reading today because I've been out all day. I'm on page 215. I'm on chapter 39. We're currently reading Zoe's point of view. As of so far, I think we've only had 3 point of view views, which is Ivy, which is kind of who I think is the main character. And then we have Zoe, who is the widow, and then we also have Tom, who is the guy that got into the accident that does happen in the book. I just really want to get this book done because there's a book on my Kindle that I have been really wanting to read for ages, and also because this book is quite good, but I think if I leave it any longer I'm going to get bored of the plot, if that makes sense, because it is kind of a shorter read. Like I think it's about 300 pages, so I feel like it's a book you just really have to stay on top of reading. I find that with quite a few books, like if I go away from it for too long, I just will lose interest. And I don't want that to happen with this book when I'm so close to finishing. So let's just smash this out now, I reckon. We have finished book number 4. Yes, I think this is book number 4 of the week. The ski trip, I will probably rate this a 3 out of 5. Now, I can't really go into too much detail about why because I don't want to spoil the book for anyone. It honestly was a very well written book. I think Sarah Clarke is very talented, and I think telling a story that has that many twists from that many different points of views, yeah, that many points of views is quite a difficult thing to do, and I think she's done it really well. I will say one of the main, how do I say this without spoiling anything? One of the main things that happen in the book that they argue about, I think they could have gone into it a little bit deeper. I understand that the topic as to why they don't like each other is quite a sensitive topic, and I can definitely understand why she wouldn't want to go too deeply into that because it could be very triggering. Even what they've said in the book could be quite triggering to someone, but I just feel like having something happen a little bit more may have added a little bit more to the book. It's kind of a weird thing to say because of based off what happened. It's just there's so much anticipation to find out what happened, and then when you do, it's still awful what happened, but you were expecting it to be something a lot more extreme. I don't know, I feel like I've explained that really terribly. Obviously what happened in the book is very bad and really awful, but I'm just saying, like, with what you're anticipating, I anticipated for it to be something a lot bigger, and it just wasn't. Like, obviously it was still something awful, but yeah, I don't know. Other than that though, honestly, 3 out of 5 stars is quite a high rating for me with books because I have never read a 5-star book before, so 3 out of 5 stars is pretty good. But yeah, that's book number 4 done. It's been about 20 minutes since I finished my other book. So the next book we'll be reading is on the Kindle, which I'm very excited about because it's been a little bit since I've read a book on my Kindle now. So we have Variation, or we have the Zodiac Academy, which is the first book of like a 12-book series. So I think I'm going to read the Zodiac Academy. I don't even know how many pages is in this book or anything. The typical read time is 8 hours and 37 minutes and it's 420 pages. I haven't even read the blurb of this book, okay? I am just just gonna jump into it and see whether we like it or not. So they have a cute little map as well. It kind of sucks when books, like fantasy books, have maps, because I wish I could see it physically instead of just like on my Kindle like that. And that being said, of course, I could probably just search it up on my computer, or I could get the physical books, but I live in Australia and I tried to find this book physically and I could only really get it on Amazon, and it was super duper expensive. Plus, I mean, I have a Kindle anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but the map does look quite sick either way. I just wish it was bigger on the screen. Ooh, I love the way that name looks. I like that a lot. Okay, so I have just finished the first chapter. I can already tell I'm gonna like this book. It was so fast paced. The first couple pages you're like, okay, what is going on? Like, who is this character? What are they trying to do? Why are they breaking into this house? And I can already tell I'm gonna like these two characters, and this is definitely gonna be a good book, I hope. That's a lot to say after only reading the first 16 pages, but I have high hopes. Also, I added some stickers to the back of my Kindle. They're just some Animal Crossing ones that my boyfriend got me for Christmas. Oh, I forgot I was filming. Hello guys. It's a lot later now. It's currently 10:03 p.m. I'm currently on page 94, which is 22% of the way through the book. Now, I am really liking this book. I do feel like I'm in the world in a sense, but some of it just makes you cringe so much. Like, the word alpha is used and it just giving me the ick a little bit. That being said, this book must have been written quite some time ago if there's so many books in the series already, but it just makes you cringe a little bit. There's some wording that has made me feel a little bit cringy. The book is very well written in other parts that I can almost look past the more cringy moments, if you will. I'm hoping I keep as interested as I am at the moment, because it's starting to be really good. Sorry if I'm talking a bit funny, I am super tired. This book has been like super fast paced, which I like, because I feel like sometimes books just be doing too much in the beginning and then you like lose interest before the story even starts. But with this book, it's just been chaos since page 1, so I've enjoyed it. And the author's really good at describing settings. Like, I have noticed definitely I can envision the Zodiac Academy where they have been taken to. I can envision it a lot better than I thought I would be able to. Hello guys, so it's actually been a couple days now. I finished the Zodiac Academy on my Kindle probably a couple days ago. It took me quite a few days to finish it just because I was really busy with work and stuff, but I actually ended up rating the book 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really liked the plot, and I did speak about how some of the wording was a little bit cringe, but honestly, it didn't really ruin the book for me, which is amazing because usually stuff like that would really throw me off, but it didn't at all. I wouldn't say like I wasn't constantly wanting to pick up the book knowing what's happening, but I was really enjoying reading it, if that makes sense. But it was never like, I want to stay up longer so I know what happens. Well, I guess some parts are like that. But yeah, honestly, 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'm already reading book 2 and I'm loving it. So I'm actually very excited about continuing that series. Now, that is 5 books read, and there is still quite a lot of books left on my TBR, but I have since bought quite a few new books, but I'm sure you guys will see it in the coming videos. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!